Hi, my name is Julian Hawkins, and today I'm going to be talking about abortion. The topic of abortion tends to make most people uncomfortable because it entails removing a potential life from a woman's body. For this reason, a lot of people are against the practice. However, the procedure is a very viable option to have on the table, and it will be beneficial to American citizens. I'll be talking about how abortion will help teen pregnancies, what is considered to be a human life, and how little the risks of abortions are. For our first claim, or for my secondary claim, the future for teen mothers aren't very bright. According to DoSomething.org, more than 50% of teen mothers never even make it out of high school. About 25% of these teen moms have a second child within their first year of having their first. And less percent of teen moms earn a college degree before the age of 30. If these statistics say anything, it's that a child causes a lot of stress and is a huge hindrance on the success of young women. Abortions are necessary in a country where teen pregnancies are so common. Opponents of abortion will claim that the teen should have known better and having a child will be a life lesson to them. However, this is a senseless argument. Forcing these girls to take care of these children is detracting from society. These students dropping out of school and not getting into careers will increase poverty, and tax dollars will be going to welfare programs that will help these women who can't make it on their own. Abortion should be an available option so that women at least have the right to choose what will be best for their future, and those who don't approve of it don't have to have the procedure done. For my second claim, one of the most widely used arguments against abortion is that it's murder because the fetus is a human life. This argument makes sense because there is a living, breathing organism sitting inside of the mother's womb. But what is actually scientifically considered to be a human life? According to Merriam-Webster, an organism is defined as an individual constituted to carry on the activities of life by means of organs separate in function but mutually dependent. So far, a fetus fits this criteria because they do have a set of working organs. But the definition goes on to say, therefore, another name for a human organism is a human being, an entity that is a complete human rather than part of a human. A fetus is dependent on its mother's body in order to survive and is therefore considered part of a human. So by this definition of an organism, a fetus is not considered to be a human life. A human life is able to live and breathe outside of the womb, while a fetus cannot. With this conclusion, we can say that abortion is not murder because there is no life that is being taken. My third supporting claim is that a lot of people claim that abortion has a lot of dangerous side effects that come along with the procedure. Many are under the impression that women who undergo the procedure develop a series of mental problems such as depression, insomnia, and anxiety. However, this claim has been proven false. In a UC San Francisco study that is being called the Turnaway Study, it was found that women who seek abortion and are turned away are actually the ones who develop mental health issues, not the women who receive the procedures. Even still, the distress among these women who are turned away only lasted for an average of 6 months and later subsided. Dr. Roger Rochat, a former director of reproductive health at the Centers for Disease Control, claims the study provides the best scientific evidence because it takes into account the past psychological issues of the women being studied. Other side effects would include bleeding, infection, abdominal pain, and nausea, but these are very common medical issues and can be treated by visiting a doctor. Not to mention that the women who choose to undergo the procedure are warned of the risks beforehand and are left with the final say-so. In conclusion, even though there are decent arguments against abortion because there is evidence that proves abortion benefits teens, that it is not murder, and that it is not a dangerous medical procedure, it is better to have the option of abortion available to the public.
Did you have an outline that you were going to give me now? Oh, you were going to bring it next time. You didn't have it now, okay. Since you were looking at your phone, I guess I should have guessed that. All right. Well, the propositions identified, I think the phrasing on it's a little complicated. It sounds to some degree like it's almost a refutation argument and almost a value argument as well. The preview is relatively clear. It's structured. So I know where you're going there, and it's pretty easy to follow. On the first point, that's where you had most of your evidence. I think the information about the number of teen pregnancies, for instance, and the impact it has on high school graduation and college degrees is okay. The link to lack of success in their future careers, I think, is still a little problematic. You suggest poverty issues are going to arise, and I'm looking for some follow-up information on that, and I don't see that. You suggest that there's going to be dependence on government support, and I don't see the data on that. Those are mostly assumptions that you think follow from that first set of information, and I think you need to have a little bit more data to support that particular conclusion. On the second point, your argument basically comes down to a question of the definition, and you're relying on a dictionary definition at one point. I think that there are a lot of other criteria that might be useful in talking about this point. You basically come down on the notion that this is a part of the body, the woman's body, and so it's not an independent human being, and that I think needs some development. Why that is a criteria, I'm not sure. Because it's inside of the body, I assume that there's this assumption about dependence, but kids outside of the body have dependence on their parents too. So the question then becomes, why is the difference internal and external important? And I think you don't have a very clear explanation of that. Even though that you've made that the criteria for your distinguishing characteristic there. On the third point, there's a good reference to the one study that suggests that the mental health issues actually go the other direction, but then you even suggest that they disappear after a while, so I'm not exactly sure that gets you much. Again, it feels a little bit like you're refuting an argument that we haven't heard yet instead of building an argument for the position that you have, and I think that that's a little bit problematic. You kind of defend the study that you cite, and I think that defense is a little unclear as to why that is so much better a piece of information than whatever the opponent apparently is going to present. I think you need to know the material a little bit more. There's a lot of reading that's going on. And just as a side note, I don't know if I said it to other people, and if I haven't, and they fall in this category, I should say it to everybody. Generally, you want to lose the hat when you're giving your presentation. It's a little distracting. It diminishes your connection with the audience. But, of course, if you're looking down at the phone a lot, maybe that doesn't matter that much. Sorry, that was maybe a little sarcastic there at the end.